How can a 30-ton fighter jet launch from a runway shorter than a city street, land safely on a moving ship in rough ocean waves, and repeat this dangerous cycle hundreds of times daily? To understand how this is possible, we need to explore one of the most complex machines ever built by humans: the aircraft carrier, a floating military base designed to operate far from land. A modern aircraft carrier is longer than 3 football fields and carries thousands of sailors, dozens of fighter jets, enormous fuel reserves, and advanced radar systems controlling everything around the ship. But the most extraordinary part of the ship is its flight deck, a massive steel runway where fighter jets launch, land, refuel, and rearm continuously while the carrier moves through open ocean. Before any aircraft can launch, the carrier carefully turns into the wind, increasing airflow across the deck and giving fighter jets the extra lift they need to take off safely. Even with strong wind over the deck, the runway is still extremely short, which is why aircraft carriers rely on powerful catapult systems capable of accelerating fighter jets to take off speed instantly. But launching aircraft is only part of the challenge, because beneath the flight deck lies a massive hangar system where aircraft are stored, maintained, armed, and prepared for missions. Powerful elevators lift these aircraft from the hangar deck up to the flight deck, allowing crews to move heavy jets efficiently while the carrier continues sailing through unpredictable ocean conditions. Meanwhile, high above the ship, rotating radar systems constantly scan hundreds of kilometers of ocean and sky, searching for aircraft, missiles, and ships that could threaten the carrier. All of these systems work together to transform the carrier into something extraordinary: a fully operational airport, military base, and command center floating in the middle of the ocean. At the front of the flight deck lies the catapult system, a powerful launch mechanism designed to accelerate heavy fighter jets from zero to takeoff speed within only a few seconds. The aircraft connects to a small shuttle on the catapult track, and when the system fires, enormous force rapidly pulls the jet forward across the deck. In older carriers, this force was generated by high-pressure steam, while newer ships increasingly use advanced electromagnetic launch systems for smoother acceleration and greater control. Within seconds, the jet reaches takeoff speed, leaving the deck and climbing into the sky, while deck crews immediately prepare the catapult system for the next launch. But every aircraft that launches must eventually return, and landing on a carrier is widely considered one of the most difficult maneuvers in aviation. Pilots approach the moving carrier carefully, aligning with the angled flight deck while maintaining precise speed, altitude, and descent angle during the final seconds before touchdown. Instead of braking with wheels, carrier aircraft deploy a strong tailhook designed to catch one of several thick steel arresting cables stretched across the deck. When the hook catches a cable, powerful hydraulic systems rapidly absorb the aircraft's momentum, bringing a jet traveling at high speed to a complete stop. After landing, the aircraft quickly clears the runway so the next incoming jet can land, keeping the entire flight deck operating like a tightly coordinated machine. Behind this carefully orchestrated operation are thousands of sailors working together, each responsible for specific tasks that keep the carrier functioning every hour of every day. Behind the intense activity on the flight deck lies a carefully organized system where every movement of aircraft, vehicles, and crew members follows precise procedures designed to prevent accidents. Specialized deck crews wearing different colored uniforms guide aircraft, control equipment, manage safety operations, and communicate constantly to keep the entire launch and recovery process running smoothly. Yellow shirt directors guide pilots with precise hand signals, while other crews handle fueling, weapons loading, aircraft maintenance, and safety checks before every mission begins. Fuel systems deep inside the carrier pump thousands of liters of aviation fuel through complex pipelines, allowing jets to refuel quickly so they can launch again within minutes. Massive weapon elevators transport missiles and bombs from armored storage rooms to the flight deck, where specialized crews carefully attach them beneath fighter aircraft. Below the flight deck, maintenance teams work continuously repairing engines, inspecting avionics systems, and preparing aircraft so the carrier's air wing remains ready for combat operations. Navigation officers inside the carrier's bridge constantly monitor weather, sea conditions, and ship position to ensure the vessel stays in the best direction for flight operations. Meanwhile, the carrier rarely sails alone because it is usually protected by an entire strike group of destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and supply ships surrounding it. Together, these ships create a powerful moving fortress capable of projecting air power across vast distances, allowing aircraft carriers to influence events far beyond coastal regions. And at the center of this enormous system remains the aircraft carrier itself, a floating airport where engineering, coordination, and human skill combine to operate aircraft in the open ocean. Operating an aircraft carrier requires extraordinary coordination, where thousands of sailors, engineers, pilots, and officers work together every moment to keep one of the world's most complex machines running safely. Every launch, landing, refueling operation, and maintenance task must be carefully timed, because even small mistakes on the crowded flight deck could lead to dangerous accidents. Despite these risks, aircraft carriers remain among the most powerful military platforms ever created, capable of projecting air power anywhere across the world's oceans. With dozens of fighter jets, advanced radar systems, and escort warships protecting them, carrier strike groups act as mobile air bases capable of responding rapidly to global crises. Modern carriers can remain at sea for months, continuously launching and recovering aircraft while supporting complex missions that range from combat operations to humanitarian assistance. Nuclear-powered carriers can travel enormous distances without refueling, allowing them to operate across vast oceans while maintaining constant air operations day and night. Future carriers may introduce even more advanced technologies, including autonomous aircraft, improved electromagnetic launch systems, and smarter command networks. Yet despite all these technologies, the success of every carrier mission still depends heavily on the skill, training, and discipline of the people operating the ship. From the roaring flight deck to the hidden engineering rooms below, every part of the carrier works together to keep aircraft flying above the ocean. And that is how an aircraft carrier transforms a moving ship in the middle of the ocean into one of the most powerful and sophisticated air bases on Earth. From a distance, an aircraft carrier may look like a single massive ship, but in reality it operates as a complex ecosystem of machines, aircraft, and thousands of trained specialists. Every day at sea, hundreds of coordinated actions occur simultaneously across the ship. From aircraft launches and landings to navigation control, radar surveillance, and engineering maintenance. Above the deck, fighter jets roar into the sky, carrying out patrol missions, training exercises, and combat operations that can influence events thousands of kilometers away. Below the surface of the ship, engineers monitor engines, power systems, and mechanical equipment that keep the carrier moving steadily through waves and wind. Navigation teams constantly adjust the carrier's course and speed, ensuring the wind and sea conditions remain optimal for aircraft launch and recovery operations. Far above the ship, surveillance aircraft and satellites extend the carrier's awareness, allowing commanders to monitor vast regions of ocean and airspace. When combined with escort ships and submarines, the carrier strike group becomes a mobile military network capable of defending itself and projecting power across entire regions. For decades, these floating air bases have played a central role in global military strategy, providing rapid response capability anywhere across international waters. Despite their enormous size and complexity, aircraft carriers remain carefully engineered machines where precision, discipline, and teamwork determine every successful mission. In the vast emptiness of the ocean, these ships transform steel technology and human coordination into something extraordinary, a fully functioning airport moving across the sea. Even after decades of development, aircraft carriers continue evolving as engineers design stronger launch systems, smarter radar networks, and more efficient ways to operate aircraft far from land. Modern electromagnetic launch systems allow aircraft to accelerate more smoothly than traditional steam catapults, reducing stress on both the aircraft and the carrier's mechanical systems. New radar technologies can track hundreds of airborne targets simultaneously, giving carrier commanders a clear picture of everything happening across enormous areas of ocean. Advanced communication networks connect the carrier with satellites, aircraft, and other warships, allowing information to flow instantly across the entire strike group. Unmanned aircraft are also becoming an important part of carrier operations, performing surveillance missions, refueling fighters in the air, and extending the carrier's operational reach. Future carrier decks may launch both piloted fighter jets and autonomous aircraft working together, creating new strategies for naval aviation. Engineers are also designing smarter systems to manage aircraft traffic on the crowded flight deck, improving safety during intense launch and landing cycles. Despite these technological advances, operating a carrier will always depend on careful teamwork between pilots, engineers, deck crews, and commanders. Every launch and landing still requires precise timing, disciplined coordination, and the experience of thousands of trained sailors working together. And as technology continues advancing, aircraft carriers will likely remain one of the most powerful symbols of naval engineering and global air power. As naval technology continues evolving, aircraft carriers remain at the center of global sea power, capable of launching aircraft and projecting influence far beyond the horizon. These massive ships allow nations to deploy air power anywhere across the oceans without relying on nearby land bases or traditional airports. These massive ships allow nations to deploy air power anywhere across the oceans without relying on nearby land bases or traditional airports. Carrier strike groups operate as floating military networks, where ships, aircraft, and sensors work together to detect threats and respond quickly. Modern carriers can launch dozens of aircraft in rapid succession, maintaining constant air patrols that protect fleets and support missions far away. Engineers continue improving carrier technology, introducing smarter automation systems that help manage aircraft traffic and improve safety on the crowded flight deck. Future carriers may deploy autonomous aircraft that cooperate with human pilots, expanding the reach and flexibility of naval aviation. Even as technology advances, the success of every carrier operation still depends on the coordination and discipline of thousands of sailors. From the roaring flight deck to the quiet engineering rooms below, every part of the ship works together to keep aircraft flying. In the endless oceans of the world, an aircraft carrier transforms steel, technology, and human skill into one of the most powerful airbases ever created. Around the world's oceans, aircraft carriers operate as mobile airbases capable of responding quickly to conflicts, natural disasters, or emergencies thousands of kilometers from their home ports. Their ability to launch aircraft anywhere at sea allows nations to project military presence even in regions without nearby airports or friendly bases. Carrier-based aircraft perform many missions including reconnaissance, air defense, strike operations, and humanitarian support during global crises. These missions require constant coordination between pilots, deck crews, engineers, and commanders who manage complex operations every hour. During intense operations, aircraft may launch and land repeatedly within minutes, transforming the flight deck into one of the busiest runways in the world. Behind this activity, powerful engines deep inside the carrier generate the energy needed to move the massive ship through open seas. Some carriers are powered by nuclear reactors, allowing them to operate for years without refueling while supporting continuous aircraft operations. This immense endurance allows carrier strike groups to remain deployed across distant oceans for extended missions. Even with advanced technology, operating an aircraft carrier remains one of the most demanding tasks in modern military engineering. From launch systems to radar networks, every component must function perfectly to keep aircraft flying safely above the ocean. For over a century, aircraft carriers have transformed naval warfare by bringing air power directly to the oceans. From early wooden flight decks to today's advanced nuclear-powered carriers, these ships represent some of the most ambitious engineering projects ever built. Every component, from radar systems to launch mechanisms, is carefully designed to support the complex cycle of aircraft operations. Thousands of sailors work together around the clock to maintain the ship, operate its systems, and keep aircraft ready for missions. On the flight deck, every launch and landing happens within seconds, requiring precise coordination between pilots and deck crews. Beneath the deck, complex engineering systems power the carrier and support everything from aircraft maintenance to navigation control. Together, these systems transform the ship into a floating airbase capable of launching aircraft far from land. Carrier strike groups combine ships, aircraft, and sensors into a powerful network operating across vast oceans. Even as technology evolves, the aircraft carrier remains one of the most recognizable symbols of naval power. In the endless blue of the ocean, these massive ships continue carrying air power across the world. Across the world's oceans, aircraft carriers continue serving as powerful symbols of naval capability and technological achievement. These floating air bases allow nations to move air power across vast distances without relying on nearby land infrastructure. Carrier-based aircraft can patrol oceans, support allied forces, and respond quickly to emerging crises anywhere in the world. At the center of these operations is the aircraft carrier itself, a carefully engineered platform designed to support constant aviation activity. Every launch, landing, and maintenance task is part of a precise system that keeps aircraft operating safely at sea. Thousands of crew members contribute to these operations, working together to keep the carrier running every hour of every day. Their coordination allows the carrier to function like a moving airport, launching and recovering aircraft in the middle of the ocean. Behind every mission lies a combination of engineering precision, advanced technology, and human teamwork. Together, these elements transform the aircraft carrier into one of the most complex machines ever built. And in the vast open ocean, this remarkable ship continues launching aircraft and projecting air power across the world.